or elsewhere, and what is behind this deportation, what can be done, to kind of mitigate it, and what are the root cause of it, what can be done to stop this mass deportation, and what is the way forward to stop the backway travel, because most of these issues are happening because we don't have documented people traveling abroad. So we're gonna look at that, and then we're gonna go to issues related to raising a child. But first I'm gonna let the panelists come in. Nfamara, you wanna jump in on the topic of deportation?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Sawaneh. Good to join you after a very long time. Good to see
Welcome,
Sam
welcome.
and Alice again. Good to join you guys. I think this topic is very, very important to discuss. It's been on discussion the last week or so in the various national platforms. And I think it's something that it is very, very worth for us to discuss as well today. So, first of all, the deportation we are talking about is what is happening in Europe right now. Our Gambian brothers and sisters who have went through the back way and they found themselves in Europe in various asylum camps. So, some of these European countries are now beginning to, returning some of them back when their asylum fail. But I think it's also important to look at the root cause, because if you see the way the number of our youths are leaving our country to Europe, that should send a signal to our government that something is not right in our country. You understand? Because some of these people have already been to school and they have their certificates, or they already graduated from high school and maybe some of them university. And then some of them are even people who are already in the system. They are civil servants, because we have also seen a scenario where security forces or security members of the security forces are even going through the back way. So it's a cross section of our society. And then the women are now even joining the trip now, going to Backway. So I think this should be a big signal to our government that something is not working right, and we need to do something, to improve the condition and situation, in our country, that will enable our youths to, pursue further skill training or even higher education or have employment opportunity in the country. If we do that, then that way the number of people that are leaving the country will minimize. And then this will also reduce the number of casualties that we usually hear that happen on their way on this journey to Europe. We have lost lots of youths, very young life, the cream of our society. You understand? So now with the deportation, and I'm going to make reference to the recent one, which is the Swiss agreement, which we have seen the vice president and the foreign minister travel to Switzerland. You understand? And then I have also listened to their communication officer on Mimbe Kering, and then he outlined the reason why government went into the agreement and what the benefit it is for the Gambians in Switzerland or in Europe, and then also why the deportation is happening. And I think one of the reasons he mentioned is that Gambia is a democratic country now. We are part of international conventions and agreements which are related to migration and other immigrations. So obviously, as a party to those conventions, we are obliged to adhere to the objectives of those conventions, which means that if in Europe somebody wants to, a particular European country wants to deport our brother or sister, then the Gambia government has no much control over that. But what they can do is to make sure the deportation goes in accordance with the international standards. And then also, of course, the right of our citizens will also be protected. I think that is very important. Another thing is they mentioned is that they want to make sure those in the European countries too are also trained, so that they can fit into the society in Switzerland, so that they don't become destitute, but they can actually train and get skills and fit in the society. And I think that's also very important too. So my take is obviously if a government is going to that length of negotiating agreement on behalf of our brothers and sisters in Swiss and also the brothers and sisters in the Gambia, so that they don't live there often. They can stay in the country, enjoy the employment, and also learn skills. But also these guys in the Europe too also can fit in the society. In my view, I think before this agreement was signed, either the foreign minister or the ambassador in Brussels that is overseeing European countries should have gone to the Gambian organization on the ground. Have a meeting with the Gambia Association in Switzerland or in Europe, whatever organization is overseeing our Gambian youths in Europe. Our foreign minister or the ambassador in Belgium should have traveled to this country where there is a high migration or deportation going on. Have a meeting with our Gambian organizations. Let them clearly understand why they are embarking on this, why they are signing this agreement, so that they can fully understand. Because if you don't do that and you went into an agreement on behalf of our brothers and sisters and they are not aware of that agreement, all of a sudden they see a high-powered delegation from the government comprising the vice president and the minister of foreign affairs coming to another foreign country, signing an agreement that have a stake for them. I think that was, I don't know whether those negotiations have been done, but in my view, that was something that the foreign ministry should have embarked on in the initial stage of this agreement. And then also whatever entails in that agreement should have been available for these people to review and see. Maybe they have something to add on that the foreign minister did not have on their agreement. You understand? And then also listen to them directly so that you can know what their views and concerns are. Because if you don't do that, and that's why speculation is going wild on the social media, even in the country, that our government is selling us, our government is coming behind us to deport us, because they don't get the clear information. If the government give them the clear information, hey, we are coming to Switzerland, we're having this agreement with the Swiss government, but it's all good for you and it is good for the country, then they will know from the very onset that this is the situation, this is the agreement we are going into, and it is a plus for us. And of course, no country want to harbor a criminal. If some of our brothers are engaged in criminal activities and they found themselves on the deportation list, so be it, because you don't do that in the Gambia, and we will not tolerate it another outside. So the criminals should know that. But the good people who are genuinely interested in going to school and they want to learn, they want to fit into the society, they should be given that opportunity. So I think, in my view, having listened to the both sides of the story, because I've seen our brothers too, who are also in Germany and other Swiss, they made calls during those programs. They express what they think is happening. So I have the opportunity to read, but also listen to both sides as well. But in my view, the government should have engaged them from the very start, so that the issue is very clear. They know what agreement they are going into and what benefit they will be getting, which will be beneficial for the entire population or the Gambians in abroad and in the country. And then most of the time when they go into the agreement, they give money because they go with a project proposal to help the youths. But sometimes the way those money goes, you don't even know exactly. So I think we need to improve on this. If we are mortgaging if you are telling our youths to go back, let us provide something for them that they can engage in the country. Thank you so much, Sawaneh.
Thank you. Wow, that's so much in depth. Sam, you want to add to that, and Alice can come in? It's a lot, because it's a lot to discuss on this area.
Yeah, well, Nfamara, thank you so much. He really hit the nail on the head, because the first things to look at is, really, like he said, look at the root cause of everything. But at the same time, having the Gambian High Commissioner or the Gambian Consulate engage the people and have that initial conversation and dialogue to see, to get some feedback from people is very important. And not only that, but also tell people what is coming, what is happening, and what is all involved in all this. It is always good to start somewhere like that. I remember I used to work at the U.S. Embassy, and I know there's definitely a very good communication at the U.S. Embassy between the government and the American citizens. One of the things that they do is they encourage people to do is, first, when American citizens travel to Gambia, for example, they all register with the embassy. So the embassy knows where they are, get all the information. And I understand Gambians may not want to do that if you don't, people that don't have documentation may not want to go register themselves and publicize themselves. but others should be able to do that so that there's a constant flow of communication, travel advices, and all kinds of things that the embassies can do with the Gambian citizens. And in turn, the Gambian citizens, the leaders and the organizations, the Gambian citizens that we have, can also take advantage of that and spread the word, be able to have a good dialogue, good communication. So when it comes to deportation, it is very sad, and whether fortunately or unfortunately, fortunately we have a civilized society, a little bit more civilized society compared to when we were under dictatorship, when people were getting smuggled or captured in the middle of the night and then taken away, and they disappear from their families. Nobody can see them, and knowing anything about their whereabouts. We're not in that anymore. That opens up some doors for certain things, and as a result, when European countries and other countries see that Gambia is now a peaceful country, they are going to deny more of their asylum seekers, people that are seeking asylum, saying that you're seeking asylum, giving you reasons why you want to seek asylum in other countries. While those countries now know that they're not capturing anybody in Gambia anymore, they're not killing anybody in the Gambia anymore. So they are going to deny most of those asylum seekers. And one thing that I would mention here too, before I go to the next level, is um, Gambians that go out to other countries and seek asylum, they need to understand that once you fill out that asylum paperwork,
Right, right,
put
right.
all your information in there, your information is captured by these countries. They capture everything. So if they refuse your asylum or deny your asylum,
We'll go back.
they say, "Ha ha, we got all your information. We know who you are. We know your name, your full name, your mother's name, your father's name. We know what country you came from, and where do you live, and where do you work. We know all of it. So we will go get them."
Yeah.
They use that against you as well. They don't need to. All they're doing with the embassies now is to confirm, do confirmation, because I know some Gambian people, some people may say, get rid of your passport. Well, even if you get rid of your passport, your name is still with them, and you've already given them copies of all your documentations, including your birth certificate and maybe your passport and all of that stuff. You may not have a passport, but some other documentation that really provides your identity to these people. So they will use that against you when they refuse your asylum. Now, they categorize them into two different groups. One group is, you know, the criminal group, and the ones that are not criminal. So if you definitely were involved in any criminal activity, because, for example, in the U.S., whatever documentation you're looking for, they will run a background check on you. If you have some criminal activities and you're seeking asylum, they're going to refuse you and turn around and capture you because you're a criminal. They're going to try and deport you and send you back. So people need to keep that in mind. And the other group that are non-criminal, have not committed any crime, just like what Famara was saying. Some people are just legitimate people, Gambians that are looking for a job and trying to work hard and earn their money and support themselves and their families. And some are trying to go to school. Some are trying to do some other things, all legal stuff, nothing illegal. So they still, at least you have a group that's criminal, and the criminals are the ones that they're going to try to capture first and put them in their detention centers so they can arrange for them to be deported. And in doing so, what they will need from our Gambian embassies or consulate is confirmation. We want you to confirm that these people are Gambians, even though they know they are because they've already got all your information. But two, we want you to provide travel documents so we can send them home. Those are some of the things that they will do. And then the next round will be after the criminals, and the next round will be the ones that have not committed anything. They just don't have legal status to stay in there, or have not been given any authority or legal documents to stay in that country and work there as well. So those will happen. Now, what can our government do? That's important. There is always negotiation can always be on the table. It's always important to negotiate and ask what can you do for your people. You know, What can you do to help your own people? So the government's role is really to be able to negotiate with these people, still let them know that Gambia is a very poor, I mean, plead some things, Gambia is a very, very poor country. We have a very high unemployment rate. There are a lot of Gambians, youths and boys and girls and men and women sitting in the country that are not working right now, don't have a job because we don't have the resources. We don't have, our economy doesn't support that. But another thing is, let them know that if we have since we have a very high unemployment rate, deporting these people, bringing them back, is just going to make it worse for us. It's really going to make matters worse. So as a result, try and negotiate something. The people that they've captured that have not committed any crime at all, maybe allow and say, you know what, we're a small country, we are growing, trying to build our economy. Can you give us a few years? Try to ask for something high. Start with 5 years, 10 years, if possible. Can you give us 5 years before you send these people back? In the meantime, can you give them, all it takes is ask. Americans say it doesn't hurt to ask. So ask, just ask. Can you give them work authorization and allow them to work for the next 5 years while we plan for them? That way, one, that allows those people to stay there and if they know that they have 5 years to stay there, I'm sure very serious people will work and earn their money and plan their way back home. They plan their way. They plan something for back home, and that would be one thing they can do. And that way, or if that's not possible, if you ask for 5 years, for example, they can't do that and anything like that. They said, okay, go to 3 years. Something. If it comes to push, comes to shove, that they say we're not going to do that, we have to send them back. If you try to look for every loophole you can use, anything you can use to delay the deportation for these people so they can work there and earn some money. If not, then ask for some funds for them then, knowing that we have people sitting in our country not working. Unemployment rate is very high. If you bring these people, it's going to create more criminal activity in our country because security is going to be compromised because we're going to have more people that don't have a job. They are going to look for means to work, to live. And those means will involve criminal activity, theft, robberies, and things like that. So can you give us some funds that we can that can go to these people to come and start something? And maybe start a business, start something on their own, knowing that they're coming back, they don't have anything. Those who have had certain skills in the country that they're leaving, if they have some starter funds to start a business, that should be given directly to these people when they send them home, rather than giving it to the government for the government to give it to them. Because if you give it to the government, chances are they don't even get half of that back. So it should not be given to the government. It should be given directly to these people. And this is only after you've negotiated everything, you've tried every channel to keep them there, to keep them from being deported. If they say no, they have to send them back. Well, our country doesn't have the right to say you can't send them back. Yeah, we can't send them back. So in that case, try to get some funds for them. And every one of them can have funds deposited into their bank account. That way, or they can, we can allow them, we can tell them they can work with relatives to create bank accounts so everybody can get a bank account number. So funds can be directly deposited into the bank account so that when they get home, they have funds. They're not going to go crazy. They're not going to go start robbing people. They're not going to do anything stupid. They're going to go get their money and start a business because they know that they have very limited resource. And if they don't take advantage of that with that small amount of money that they have, they can lose. And in that case, they don't want to be back on the streets again. So at least it will give them a peace of mind with their families, and some of them can help their families as well. So I think that is something our government can do to help, rather than just accept and just bring them home. Accept and bring them home, and bring them home empty-handed. Nothing. That's really bad for our economy, bad for our security, is bad for our people. Yep.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Sawaneh, you're muted. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying like we have Alice. I mean, we have Binta join us right now, so we can have Alice come in and Binta can, finalize the topic.
Hello, Binda.
Hello, assalamualaikum.
Yeah,
Waalaikumsalam. Hi, Binta.
Albenyadi, Nfamara, brother Momodou, Ngalbi, Kodro, Mbeja.
Good.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Sawaneh, I mean, to this topic, what Nfamara said was also very okay. It was good that she mentioned these points, and Sam did the same thing. So for me, I don't know where to start because these are all correct, what they were saying. For me, I just always look at the general overview, how I see this whole thing. I mean, we have this international convention, about foreigners and so. And then within Europe, you also have this another one, like only for the Schengen states, they used to say, that is something like for the European countries, because this Schengen state is also another agreement within them and other laws. Like, for example, when a foreigner enters in Europe for asylum, so the first country he comes should give him this asylum, That's why when people come with the Backway, sometimes also coming to Italy, for them it's their first state. So when they run to Germany or another European country, there can also be a problem. And most of the time, Gambians don't want to stay in Italy or in Spain. You understand? So that's another problem for it. Just that why are things more complicated now than before? As Nfamara mentioned, you have these conventions also, agreements and so. When Gambia is part of it, because you cannot be in a club and say, okay, I'm going to do what I want. I mean, we used to talk about sovereignty, but two sovereigns, we are very far from sovereignty. We all know we are dependents, so we have no way. That's why it's very sad when a country cannot do it by himself, you know, because the person who feeds you is your master, So to avoid that, we have to see that we try to get better in politics, in economics, and everything. And to do that, I think, the government should do something. So, and then about this Backway thing, I used to say it's a two-sided sword, because you have, I will not say blame, I will not blame anybody, but I will say the government should have done also something. First, we start, why are people going out? What is the force? So if you see that many people are there unemployed, especially the youth, and they don't see any future for them, it's definite that they try to see another way, whether it's Backway or another way. Maybe the Backway is maybe the modern one or more popular. Then people will take that one. We have seen people are also going to Saudi Arabia, being slaves, or I don't know. So maybe for them also that is the ventil they have to go and try their life. So the problem we have to solve first in our country. You understand? And that's why the last time I used to say that we have to change our curriculum. We have to reform our curriculum in the Gambia. We cannot blame the youth sometimes. Because if I go to school, for my future, I go to school and learn only English and maths or geography whatsoever. I can be an expert in that. But the question is it going to give me a future? No. So after being expert in English, when I come back to Gambia, I can only work for somebody. And who is that? The government. People are coming from the university. They can only work for who? For the government. Oh, and the government don't even have place for these people. So that means these people are going to stay outside under the sun, working day, night, you know. And after a long time, then the frustration will come. They are clever. They can do something because they've shown it already in the university. They have shown it on their papers that they are fighters and everything. But this recognition, when it's not there from the government side, then the frustration will begin. And then they start to have other ideas. How am I going to save myself from this situation? Then the lightest chance they have, they use that. So that is one side, which I'm not going to blame, I said, but that is the responsibility of the government to make sure that the youths, they try to have something. You know, we talk about curriculum reform, the whole 4 years, nothing happened. I don't know. But we are lucky that even the German government, which I know myself, is not from any of your journalists there. They came up to the Gambia and negotiated with the government that they try to sponsor a training center there in the Gambia so that when the youths come and even the youths in the Gambia can go there for training. That is the one I know very clear, and it's not from journalists, you know. And then the ambassador of Germany went there and talked with the officials of the government, and that is, we're talking about now 2 years or 1.5. So that means this center should have been there now, you know. So if not, then they should explain where is this money. I don't know. I don't want to talk much about it, but these are things I would say the government should make sure that they give the youth the chance, give them another training so that they can work for themselves instead of waiting for employment by Barrow, because Barrow cannot give everybody a place. You know, it's unfortunate that it's our working style in the Gambia. You go to school, from the school you come, and then they say you are a clerk. You sit in the office, you know, and then yeah, and when it's a developing country, you have to focus on other subjects like technology, you know, the technical side and things like that. You know, offer the youth these chances that they'll not go out. You know, I've seen what happened in Kenya. You know, the time I was also busy with AIM Global, you know, we support Kenya, and the president was happy, you know, to see that he can give the youth that, and then they can build their future, and definitely that is what happened. You know, even the president joined the AIM Global, the president himself. You know, it was all over the newspapers and everything. I tried it in the Gambia. We got a small group. I flew from here to there, 2 weeks, just going up and down, office, and nothing happened. Because I was trying to take the same model, what we did in Kenya, to put it in Gambia, being a Gambian. But nothing happened. I'm very sorry for that, you know. And these are the things where I can blame some. It's not a blame, but I would say the government should have done also their job. You know, maybe they'll do it in the future. I hope that it's not too late, because we have a lot of debts in these seas, people trying to risk their life to go to these areas. So sometimes you cannot blame them. So the other side is, that's why I said it's a two-sided sword. The other side is being a youth, you are from the school. If you don't have any opportunity to be employed by Barrow, I would advise you to try and do something for your living by taking a job. Doesn't matter, let the people talk what they talk, because they are not feeding you. You have to change the mentality. You understand? Because we cannot say that there is no job in the Gambia. No, that one I will say no, there is something. Because What are the Nigerians doing there? What are the Senegalese doing there? What are the people from Guinea doing there, or Guinea-Bissau? What are they doing there? They are working and they are having money. In our country, where we live, we don't have that problem like them. Being a foreigner, we have all advantages. It's our place, it's our land, we know the people, you know. But to know the people, that is where the disadvantage is also, because our mentality. That's why I say we have to change our mentality. If we always open our ears, hearing the people, what they are going to say. Binda is a Kawasa now. You understand? That's how people make lives of others also difficult. Binda is a Kawasa now. Binda is a Kawasa. What is Kawasa? It's a job. She is not stealing that, you know, and she is living from it. She's proud. That's the mentality of Germans, you know. Here, whether you are a minister or you are a garbage, I don't know how to call it, you know, or you are a toilet washer, or people are all proud of what they are doing. Everybody is proud of his profession. And nobody look down to the other because of his profession. You know, if we take that out of our place in Gambia, I'm sure that many youths will be very rich. Because all this money these people are collecting, these foreigners, we could have done it, you know, without hearing anybody, people laughing also, you know. But we have to start somewhere. That we say, okay, every job now is a respectful job. The person who is receiving, that is his business, because when he is satisfied with $200 and enjoying what he is doing, that is the best, because the best is even when you're working, doing what you like. Sometimes you don't even think about the money, you know. But unless we try and take out these things out of our heads, to say that any job I can do, you know, doesn't matter what the others are saying, it's not my business, because they are not feeding you. If we are real to ourselves, we'll know. So then when I hear some people, they take $40,000, $50,000 going to a way which they are not sure whether they live or they even reach. Such a risk. Before I take such a risk now, I'll make sure that I invest that in the Gambia business. Let people laugh, doesn't matter. Other foreigners, they come, they don't invest anything. They don't have nothing to invest. Within 2 years, you see them buying houses in the Gambia, and they are foreigners. The people will say, oh, he was very, you know, poor, and today he's building or buying a compound. You understand? You can see many of these from Guinea, or when they come, they have a small table with 2 candles and some mints. Every night they are sitting there at the corner. You give them 1 year, they are in a shop. And the following year, they'll tell you how many shops they have already in the Gambia. You know? So we have to get these patients and then try to change our mentality and know that what these people are doing in our country, we can do it even better. But unless we try to separate ourselves from this, they are laughing at me, you know, and the society should also stop laughing at somebody when he's doing something where he's feeding himself. We have to respect that, you know. Because when you see where we are here, it doesn't matter. Everybody concentrates on his salary. You know, sometimes people ask, oh, what are you doing also? They are very quick in asking that too. But you can say it also because the mentality is there that every profession is a profession. You know, not being a president. You can have your profession and even respect yourself more. You know, because you know what you're doing. You know, not what everybody is fighting to be a president. To be a president, I don't want to talk much about it, but these are the things. I think when we can do that, and the youths themselves, because it's another generation, and they are well informed. They are in Facebook and all these things. You know, everybody is trying to show that it's modern and things like that. The same way they have to change also the mentality. the way they think, whether it's politics or life or, I think it's very important because when we change the way we think, I think we'll go further. This is fact. Because we have something to do, then we don't need to risk the life. And the next thing is when they come here now, the Schengen state conventions also, they have a problem. And whether it's Germany or Swiss, they know that we in the Gambia now is a democratic state. It's good, it's not good. The good thing is that it's democratic state. The bad thing is you cannot just run from Gambia now and say you're having problem in the Gambia. Because that was the advantage that people have asylum, and these people, they know it. They are there, their ambassador is there and everything. So you cannot tell a lie. You cannot come here and tell the same thing, and they know all these things. So only what our government should do is also to make sure, as Sam mentioned, to tell them, look, that's how it looks like. If you send me these people back, I think there will be a problem because I have already a high rate of employment. So when these people come, then I'll have more problems. Whether there is a way to help them, to integrate them again in the society by giving them work or incentives and so, I mean, that is a job of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. If they do their job correctly, I think the youths will also not have problems. The next thing is we don't have those ties. A friend can help you, but I think we are not even friends with Germany. Just because we don't have anybody here. As I used to say that every time. And here is full of Gambians. But nobody cares. The next station is Brussels. Most of them cannot pay even a taxi to go there. So that means they are left alone. So I've just seen or heard even there's a society in the south who also asked for that the government should also try to help the youths there or can make agreement here that the youths who are here with asylum to give them the chance to work and so. I mean, normally it's a law here that when you are an asylum, you cannot work. That's a German law. You cannot work because you need this by working you need this working permit. So, but there are special ways, or I don't know, files of special cases where you can have a special permit. For example, you being an asylum, you went to a restaurant and this restaurant man sympathize you and want to give you a job. Then you can go to the office and ask for a working permit, and then you have to say where and who. They'll call that person and clear it. Then they can give you this permission to work. That is the law here. You understand? So, and that is not only for Gambia, it's general. It's a general thing. So when they have their laws, Gambia cannot also just come and say, look, people, you change the law because of me. You can do it when you have ties with them, but we don't even know these German people. So that is already null, So in Swiss, the same thing. I was there also, working. But I think these are things I think I have to stop now and let Binta in.
Yes. Thank you so much for Alas for that. I have another gentleman from Italy who called and then want to speak about this because he's a life experienced individual. His name is Bajmbalo. So he asked, but I was just trying to confirm with you guys before I let him in. So he will.
Yeah, why not? He's welcome because he experienced it live. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let Binda comes and I will admit him. I'll tell him to request again before Binda, welcome. You can speak in our local language. It's fine.
Assalamualaikum ngamubi kontong atuna kontola.
Yeah, Binda,
Comme ngamwe alas fulbafu kanyamanin sam. Ni deportation o kan tolo mahanin tel membe Gambia. Because last time ngame Brikama le boy dole ko ya deport nanjana. After the deportation ala fama la saya sunta wala kaya fama fa. So atela broda fana o fana lafta ate fana mfala because ngamo newsletter. Say
Sorry.
Obama felenting alo stadim fulalala because yata mutale melaf tata fanam fala yo fanam muta. So jang deportation on yimbe nyame Backway ntamanta Backway barinka mule Backway be nyame nintala broda bentabul jala fakata Backway family bele ka spend iye mo fem so sa dolbe je 50,000 dol kata fa 100,000 because ni tata libya ye kidnap ji ike la mol kolla ya fay ko ne al manin ko di kar jombe la mo falale so mo me yota yo try itata fo Italy ma fo ni criminal yake je se deport nanji bossa ni aje tonya de European o Italian o Germanian o be Gambian o ta kay be muru di kanja because government kuto me ngaso to 2016 I promise you menta ko national development plan. Not that national development plan youth sol mantara benefit kanji because ndama dulala je dai ka fa men nyanta ba fa damen to ko youth sol nyanta nyine kala ji. Say moment at for Europe every month €50 or €20 or €100 about try kan kanata la family. Say nga example tam falan say nte ba ma dingol kono da mala beji every month be expect la ko fembinal. Say ni o mari stay in Nanjang from front
Yeah, your signal, Linda. Yeah, that's the Gambian line.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anina Gambia say brother so dol
Welcome
fana
back.
be advice lal because ni ale bota dame itadula fana ke mira jelal banna dolbe je fana ni tata Europe ike fanke ika ye tubabol ben fanga tara je ke fanke ko to le life lo walt ibe dro kol mala ibe dolol minna me alon ko ite mamme ibe bola Gambia mammen tuja ni tata Europe ye fanke ko ite futata arjano le kon dolbe je wol fana deportation ko le sab barinte be appeal la government ye ya try ye youth sol ye empower because science ni finten tol kata dula ton kata marcel kono nyama tol be overla siarene because last time tata sere kunda boy ndindinde o ni haje faytal na ka fuka nyama tal a bulo tala elipa nko ben jola to afta ngajibe nton tare ngajibe e konyo ko amankende ya so wobe siyarin jana sa entol membe wulu kan sa entel dingol nyama to be siyarin criminal or be siyar every time mbamo kay mo fa sa ngambe jam mo fa manke fent anu wota mo ntol molo sa ente amira nyin stress wala ka modo bula kudola ik buka siye kudo atem ni stress tarek italo nebe menkela isa kuke imanyana me afena siyar great so nto kay wala mun to la silanyat mena broda sol advice la me si nyinin dirdula yo try yela family ta ya take care ni ale so mena yena yela banku ka ya enjoy nga president government fanandane ye Gambia dingol ye bala fanye ye njibe because Gambia jang ye korda ja bitakan every time be tucha do mola alon koy mola bay outside but Gambia jando ko hanatre mu muneti ila sarari bukasi before end of money ke ila sarari dontole ka donto mo le bla fanin karo fata yata yaju so wala mun tala diamoti
Binda, thank you very much.
okay welcome.
Thank you, Binda. You know, that was
Yeah,
you have a very good insight since you are on the ground. Okay, so we're gonna let our brother come in, Bachimbalo from Italy. He is a life experience. Yeah, life experience of this.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mr. Mbalo.
Assalamu alaikum, Balbe Kontona. So I think I have to speak in English, and so I'm going to mix all the language together because maybe our hearers or the people that are listening to us, we would like to at least understand what we are talking about, Hence, we are talking about the Gambia, so we have to, squeeze the languages so that the listeners or the viewers will also understand on what we are saying. Okay. Nde lafta men fola rek because mbe siring Italy le. Ntelemu Gambiano la association ila presideno membe Palermo ntelemu ila presideno de. So we also, nsi wati dol molka mitinol sotole ka nin deportation ko ka jibe. So how is this deportation going on? You understand? Why is people have been deported? So ndeka men for wrong because you know si standing here for nyaming near more deport. Some people, even if you give them a stock of a stock of something or a bunch of something, you tell them go with this in this place, try to do this with the thing that I am giving you, they cannot utilize it very well. You understand? So mba fokanerek deportation nying is abe fenjama create kan Gambia kono. You understand? Because I spoke with people in the Gambia, and then so mol kame yitandi dol bejanne tonya melia lonko ikabula nying fensi fal kono fo ike fang ike
I think you're
fan dundi dulalto ima melong all there. You understand? But deportation nteka team that have been deported in the Gambia, because at the end they become crazy. You understand? Mo Jamal Beje Melialonko imantare kendearing Gambia Kokache is just because of this deportation. Could you imagine? I took this way from the Gambia. I passed through this Sahara Desert. I passed the Mediterranean. I come here to hustle so that I can able to put a basin on my table at home. In that, you take me from that and yente murundi Gambia. You understand? So with all that frustration, namimbe masilokan. So nintenga wo mira. So I cannot do anything about that. It caused so many things. As nyama ya natino asi sunyara melmen manyan naka sunyaro kenu wo basic si hapunno Gambia kono. Ndebe men focal government right, it's like deportation ko Gambia wo manyan naka ke. You understand? So this is the contribution that I want to give. There are so many people here, obviously. Imantara kun kanyarino kekang. You understand? But that doesn't mean we should give the permission to these governments here to take them back home. Because we are also seeing what is happening here. You understand? So amanke ko ndolnga wo fenko ta as a privilege now for not government ye water as a privilege for ha bange bula ye murundi. That's not the solution. Gambia je hani ya tara ilafta fen invents la ibe muna invest la je because fenti je fente Gambia. You understand? So ntol mel be outside but try kan ka hustle ka fen make je because doko bula jokono ameta nyahonya ate keno la je bambodi fo ay muru abe wuluta damento jele abe enjoy meno kala. You understand? Yeah, so deportation ko nyinkay pour ka Gambia la government ye authority di pour ye Gambia no deport nte as tembe mang agree wala. Yeah.
But the question is always, because many people used to say that I'm not for the government, but many people used to say that. But the fact that I gave the example, you cannot be in a club which you signed to be a member, and you don't want to go according to the laws, and that's where our government is also. So you have this international convention. I mean, it's an agreement within the states about asylum seekers and so. And then within Europe, you also have another one within the European countries. You call it the Schengen Stat. And maybe you heard from Italy before. And this these people, they also have their own agreements, you know. That's why when you come from Gambia, because one of their agreements I know, when you come as asylum seeker, the first country you reach is your home. You understand? That's why when people come from Libya, they try to let them stay in Italy or Spain, and they are not allowed to go to Germany or other countries. You know, that is also another foolish thing. What they also did. So now, our country, we could have said we are not going to play with that, you know. But then we have to try and live out for our own. You understand? We have to live from our own economy. We have to live from our own export. Then you can open your mouth. But when you are a beggar, do you have a choice? And the person feeding you is your master. You hate him, you like him, he's feeding you. Why feeding you? Because you cannot try and do yourself. That's why we have to make sure that we do our everything ourselves, export our things, and try to bring the economy up. Then you will not even see then we will not even talk about this today. Because then the youths are in the Gambia having their future, you know, they're having their work, good jobs, staying at home with their parents and not going anywhere. That means there must be something wrong from our three governments, you know, that the youths were neglected all the time. And they have to respect the youths because Gambia is having now, I think, 60 to 70% of the youths, you know, and the youths are the futures, you know. People like Barrow and others and so, they should not think that they are Gambia because they are going. They like it or not, they are going, you know. So the next generation is coming, you know. We have to prepare them because they are going to be after the presidents, the ministers and all, you know. So, but there must be a plan, you know. That's why they used to say, to rule a country is not a joke. But in the Gambia, everybody wants to be a president, even if they cannot. You understand? Because it's not a joke. You have a lot of
So,
responsibility.
yeah.
So I can leave Nfamara to come in again. Maybe he's having time.
Yeah.
Nfamara, is he still there?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes. You
Yes.
can come in.
Okay.
Yeah, go
All right.
ahead,
So
Sawaneh.
yeah. Okay. So just to you know, if anybody has any other additional thing to this topic, we can go ahead. But for the benefit of time, I think, you know, we have really spoken in depth. I think, you know, for me, I'm just gonna summarize a little bit what you guys what I think, you know, is wrong about this whole thing. I think we have to hit the nail on the head. You know, during Jammeh time, we don't see this a lot. I'm not saying it's not happening. Okay. I can agree because of Jammeh, you know, we encounter all this massive exodus from the country. He has to be blamed for that because of his tyranny. Many people left the country who should not have left the country. Okay. But the main reason why people are leaving the Gambia is for a better living. Some people are not being forced. They have not, their life is not in threat, threatening. So they're living just for a better, greener pasture. Even well before Jammeh, because I am one of those people who left the country willingly during Jawara's time in 1992. I never thought that Jammeh would have been,
I
you
do.
know, you too, Alice. So my goal of coming outside abroad was, you know, for the passion of my education, you know, and to do better things in the country. So Jammeh being there also stopped me from going back because after I finished my studies, because I feel like going back, I wouldn't be effective. Probably I will be even, you know, be considered a threat also. So that actually make me settle down here and have a family. But again, we cannot continue to blame Jammeh. He's gone. The people in power now have the opportunity. The opportunity falls on their head, on their laps, and I have to blame the whole entire coalition for this, for the mess that we are facing now, because they empower Barrow one way or the other, either positively or negatively. They are the reason we have Barrow the way he is at now. which we all know the man is not really doing well to run this country. It's a fact. If you don't want to say if you don't want to say the fact, then it's you. But the man hasn't got the plans to run this country the way it's supposed to. Then that make him fall to the previous leader's plan. And that's why we are seeing all these people surrounding him. We are not seeing reform in the security sector. We are not seeing reform in other areas because the man doesn't have a plan. Somebody who came from a business background, and never had any idea of leading anyone, been given the opportunity with the perception that he will have guidance from people like Khalifa and Dabo and others. Later on, you find out that the man is being driven by clueless folks like Ahmad Ba and others. And then we end up in the situation that we are in. So the entire goal of, reforming our country is thrown in the dustbin, including our constitutional reform. So we have to hit the nail on the head. This deportation is happening because the government is partially part of it. If they make it hard and tight, they close the loopholes, they don't agree to certain things, these people will not get deported the way they are. Okay, and I think this is way, since the coalition was on, since the coalition was on full force with Maifadi and others and Dabo and in there, there are some arrangements being made about this deportation stuff for financial gain for these people to run the country. So these white people, if you sign something with them, they will execute it, either you like it or not. They will send your people back because you agreed to that. You agreed to take their money. So we have to hit the nail on the head. Now these people might be bad in Europe. They might be doing worse things, but they were doing that since Germany. Has been known. Gambians have been known as a this thing in Germany, but we haven't been seeing this massive thing. So I think the best thing is for our government should do. They should just try to find a safe haven, like you guys said. When these people come, let them agree on something to be given to them so that when they come, they can settle with their family. That way we don't have to see a lot of mad people on the street. People don't have to kill themselves or kill their family members just because going back to your country. Look at even this. You explain this to anyone, they will not understand. Going back to your country, you kill yourself for that. I mean, what is that? Just because you're scared to be poor or you're scared not to have a good life or you're scared to come away from Europe, you kill yourself or you kill somebody? If you explain that to any person in their right mind, they will tell you, what is wrong with these people? Why would somebody hate your place so much that sending you back there, you will have to do this man and things? So sometimes, I don't think we think right. I mean, our consciousness is very, very baffled, But with all that said and done, I think the best thing is when these kind of operations are on the way, listen, I mean, if I were among those guys, I have no papers, I would say, listen, let me go. At least I have experience in Europe that I can use to develop myself. Nobody comes here and becomes stupid again because you've seen everything, how people have been doing things. So you can use the little money you have, even if you have this thing, if you don't have money. But if you go to Gambia, you should be able to elevate yourself at least. And then also let the government also create some funding for them to amalgamate in the society. Because when they come, they are used to certain lives. You got to give them counseling, give them, a place, and then let them gradually blend into the community and have support and understand them and let them understand the world is the same. We can make it here as well. Get some skillful, workshops or open some kind of things for these people, special guidance. I think that is the best thing to do. But right now, this deportation is causing a lot of problem. And we have, listen, folks, we fail big time. We fail to the point that we don't even understand. We fail so big that, we don't even understand. There are some countries people don't even travel. They barely travel to the United States or even some other African countries now.
Look at Kenya. You never
Look at
hear
Kenya.
about it.
They don't, yeah. and they don't have any mineral resources because their citizens come together, enlightening each other, use their tax money, and say, we can do it ourselves. And then they were able to do it, by themselves. So to cut the story short, I think we all have an obligation, the government, our citizens, and in trying to cut down this desire to say, if I don't travel, I'm not gonna make it and risk your life. I think we should start growing Gambia from the bottom. Our governments wouldn't do much like they haven't been doing. So I think citizens will take the ownership of this, sensitize each other, help each other out. If you see a brother who want to open a business, give them loans. Let's get into those kind of mode, like have them have loans, guidance, and then let them start kicking off little by little so we contribute towards developing our country. But our government, they will play politics, they will play money to their advantage and get us in the situation that we are in. And at the end of the day, we're gonna be, we're gonna be losing our young kids, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna stop here. If anybody has anything to add, or we can just wrap up with the final topic.
Let Sam comment.
I just want to add something there real quick. I thank you all for saying what you said. Definitely, yeah, really appreciate it. But at the end of the day, we still need to come up with a solution. And the solution for this, I think, is something the government can do. And the solution for this is, just like Nfamara said, and I said from the beginning, but I didn't go into the root cause. What is the root cause of people traveling outside? Well, one, because they're not happy in their own country. They can't get what they need to get in their own country. Means of survival, cost of living is very high, and people can't afford to even get your normal breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the country. So everybody wants to find ways to get more money. So the solution to this that I would propose, and I've said this in my forum before as well, my WhatsApp forum, the solution for it is the government need to come up with a plan for our youths, a plan for the youths going to school, and the ones that are sitting currently not doing anything, and the plan for their future. And to do that, there are different avenues that they can take. One is, I'll start with those going to school right now. So by the time they get off school or they graduate from high school, there is a plan for them. And that plan would be the government really need to open up institutions like a two-year institutions where these people can come out of high school and go to these centers to learn and further their education in skills like masonry, carpentry, plumbing, welding, electricians, different fields, you name it. All right, painting, interior decoration or interior design. They can get all of these, roofing as part of that too. They can have these skill centers where these people, I mentioned this like 2 years ago, and I heard they opened a skill center, but I don't know up to what level. But this need to be open in every region where people can go when they get out of high school, they go straight into this. When they get out of this, by the time, and they can have different programs there, from a 1-week program all the way to 2-year program. A 2-year program, anybody that completes a 2-year program in any of these fields will come out with an associate degree. All right. Now, what that associate degree will do for you is the government, once they start this, the government also need to start their own maintenance program rather than giving contracts to contractors that are not even Gambians. All right. If they have their own maintenance program, and every department of Education, Department of Agriculture, Department of Finance, Department of Tourism, they all have their maintenance department, and they're head by a maintenance director. Now, when these people graduate from these skill centers, they get hired into these departments so that these departments will use them to maintain and perform all the maintenance work that need to be done in their places. If you look at Gambia, we're good at building, people are good at building stuff. Government is good at building stuff. We have hospitals there. When you go to hospitals, they look so filthy, so dirty. Nobody maintains them. They're good buildings that we have built and nobody maintains them. You go to even the airport, the bathrooms are horrible. The Port Authority restrooms, horrible. You will not even let your animals in there. All right. You go to Bakau Health Center. You go to Brikama Health Center. Very bad restrooms there for people. All of these are in very bad conditions. A lot of buildings and structures are deteriorating. So you will have these people that will maintain them. They will all get a job, or most of them will get a job because the government will pay them, hire them and pay them rather than paying millions of dollars to contractors. Pay to Gambian people, hire them into these jobs, let them work. Now, for those who are currently sitting, not doing anything, and those Backway boys that were returned, what the government should do is, government cannot hire everybody. We know that, but they can open up, really open up resources or avenues for people to be hired by getting in with investors that want to come and invest in Gambia and tell them, okay, this is our country. You want to come invest here? We're going to play it by my rules, by the government rules. And part of our rules is 90%, we're going to let you work here. We're going to let you invest in, create a business here, but 90% of your employees have to be Gambians. We do not want you to bring a Chinese person to come and drive a forklift for Gambia, in the Gambia. Gambians can do that. We do not want you to bring people to do certain things that Gambians can do. So create those job opportunities and condition every company to really have a 90% Gambian employment workforce. If you do that, you will get a lot of people off the street to go work. And another thing is, they need to introduce a minimum wage to increase people's pay to meet the demand and the cost of living. Because right now, the cost of living is going this way, it's going up, and people's salary are still here. Cost of living is going, and people's salary are here. They need to match. So to do that, you need to pay people more so that they can live with what they have. They can live within their income. Otherwise, you just create more problems. So when people have and can afford to live in their from their pay, and you have all these job opportunities in the country, investors are coming, you open up a lot of doors and give them some stuff they can come in, but at the end of the day, Gambia benefits out of it. The Gambia government benefits, our country benefits, our youths, our children, and men and women all can get jobs there. It will really almost cut down backway travel. Nobody's going to go backway because you have good salary. If there is a minimum pay of $5,000 to start with, but the goal would be 10,000, for example, in 5 years' time, everybody needs to make 10,000, and you start with 5,000 now. You have a husband and a wife, each making 5,000. That's 10,000 coming into the house. I mean, they can buy a bag of rice out of 10,000, even 2 bags of rice, 3 bags of rice for 10,000, and feed their family without thinking about taking the risk to go back way. So these are the things that the government need to do to really stop this backward travel, but also be able to accommodate and help the youths stay in the country and work and not take the risk. If you have a good opportunity to go the legal way, you can go. But there's at least peace and stability in the country and to really help the youths. I think that's the solution.
Thank you. Thank you for highlighting.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think Nfamara and Mbalo, if you want to come in, because I think we would have to end this with this topic because it's coming to 1 o'clock and we are over 1 hour.
I think that's enough for this topic is enough for today because
today, yeah. We can push the next topic next week.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Yeah. So let's
out. I just wanted to say, Mr. Mbalo, being the president there in Italy, to try and it's a good job and good responsibility because I mean you are somebody there trying to organize maybe all Gambians there, and that's what many countries need, you know, to have a leader who is going to say something. We have that in Germany also. You have every corner a group, you know, any kind of group also, but it's the responsibility of a consulate or ambassador to try and bring all these groups together and things, you know, that's the function. And that's also what we don't have here. You know, the person sitting here is a white man. I mean, I just see that he's trying to say that he's doing that honor Honora in Germany here means when you are um, uh, asked to come and work for some hours and the rest is yours. So that means maybe he is even having his own job and then trying to feed also from Gambia because that's how it is. It was by Jammeh like that. People thought that when Barrow come will change and nothing changed, and that is now 4 years. And Gambia being the most populated Gambians in the world outside, what I would say, not even Europe or Saudi Arabia, we have nothing here. Sweden likewise, you know, and that is something we have to blame the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I don't know why, but because we have only Belgium. Belgium, the boys when they have something here, they cannot go there. You understand? I'm expecting what is going to happen because I'm hearing that diasporans can vote now, and I think the IEC is going to be responsible now, organizing everything that people like you and me can vote. But I'm very pessimistic when it's about Germany. You know, they are going to organize it, even, you know, because the boys don't go to this white man because being a white man, they don't go to him. For them, there is nobody here. So that means it's no function for Gambians already. So how are they going to organize that the people can go and vote? And I think they have to start right now working on it. So thank you very much for my
Thank you.
side.
Thank you, Alice. Mbalo, before you come, let's see if what Mr. Nfamara has. Nfamara. Nfamara, you there? Okay. I think Nfamara is not it's on mute. So you can come, Mbalo, and one more time so we can wrap this up. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just want to, comment on what Mr. Sam have said. It's like, he mentioned some points here whereby, the government should um, build skill centers whereby, youths can be, go and learn their skills. That's very important. I thought, especially in Jimara, there is one skill center, Jurangel, whereby youths are going to learn skills and but um, um in I always say this in terms of deportation, and if we are to talk about that, we just have to leave the youths that are here. Let's focus on the people that are in the Gambia, the youths that are in the Gambia presently, so that if these skill centers and all these works places are open, they can also be there and work there. But the people that are already outside the Gambia, I don't think whether is a good idea to take those people back home and tell them go to skill centers and work. So
The problem
here we
is,
are.
sorry, Mr. Malo, the problem is
Yeah.
for the German government, for example, they wanted to send the people just like that. You understand? Which is not human. That's why they come to the idea, okay, even if they come to Gambia, then at least they get trained that they have a better future. In that case, they are a little bit human with it because many countries will just like USA, some people, they just pack them from coming from work and they will not even reach home. They throw them in the plane with handcuffs, which is very unhuman. And they don't know their future when they even come to Gambia. So that means even the Germans, they try. They gave the government even money to build that center there. The ambassador was there. So that is just to help these people when they come. Normally they should not have done it. It's the responsibility of the government. But they know that they cannot do it. So they came there and even invest. That means for them here, they would have loved it, they stay here, but the German laws are like that, which many people cannot understand. You hear the laws, when they are there, you cannot change it. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you are Mr. Barrow or you are the last person, doesn't matter. The law is for everybody there. So when the law says when somebody's asylum is not accepted and he's supposed to go back, that means what they even do for Gambia is an exception. They don't do that normally because they tell you want to go when you want to go, and then you have to join the plane, and that's it. And nobody cares. That's how it was.
And
working.
now, why is it that it's only the Gambians that have been deported in Germany? And what about the other nationalities like Senegal and Guinea? Because
they are deporting those people. They are deporting those people too. Just that we can only talk about Gambia. They are deporting those people too. Even in the USA, the last time I think about 3,000 Nigerians were packed in the plane. All these things are happening. When the world is getting tough, people are no more the best. Because everybody is trying to cover his economy. People are no more friendly then. So they change because they know that the whole world want to come also and get one. To have a better life. Which is also their fault on the other hand, because the condition of Africa is created from them. But let us not go about the history. But I'm just showing you when we talk about Germany. I know I can tell you more. So these are the rules and regulations. And that one, what they did for Gambia, is even very good because they don't do that for Ghana or other countries. What I know is they pumped a lot of money in the East Africa countries because they're having their ambassadors and consulates here. Sometimes they give them millions for hunger and so. They used to do that because they're having very good ties with these people. And we don't have that as Gambians. So that means even the German government is even nice to send their ambassador there to talk with the government and say that, okay, they are going to invest how many millions to build a center there so that when the people are deported, because it's something what they cannot stop. But here, when the law says this, no German can even stop. Even Angela Merkel not, and nobody can change it. So doing such things is an exception for Gambia. I can tell you that. So the
yes,
reason,
but what I'm saying is that even if they can say let us deport the Gambians, that has to be on the agreement. Then where is that agreement coming from?
Yeah, the
So
agreement.
it's where the agreement is coming from. It is there where we have to stop that agreement.
Yeah, the agreement.
They cannot just come and
it's
they cannot.
signed thing. I mean, you have the international convention. That is about the whole world. Even Gambia, if they sign it, they have also the right when a Senegalese is having problem with Macky Sall to give him asylum. Asylum, for example. So then within Europe, you have another convention also within the European countries. You call it the Schengen states. They are also having their own, just like the law I mentioned to you, that there is a law when an asylum comes, the first country he is, that is his home. So that means if you come Spain as first European country, you don't even ask for asylum, but you are an asylum for that place. You are not
Exactly, I understand that. That's why they create this doubling system in Europe. Wherever you arrive, it is in that country where you have to seek asylum, and which is not normal.
Yeah, but
we are also trying to work on that and see where we will get onto it, because it's not normal. You cannot ask me to ask an asylum here. That's not humanity. If we talk of human rights.
Yeah, I mean, we are not talking about humanity here because that it is not. For them it's better. They even build a big wall between Africa and Europe. Because they are fed up from these boats coming and as I said, one is they were friendly before, but the world is getting difficult, so people change. So they change also. And every day you have stronger laws because all these things, what is there now, my time, because I left the Gambia, Jawara time, just like Mr. Sawaneh, things were very chill, very easy. You can go and have your visa, you go and then, do what you want. Nobody disturbs you. So all these things change, Even now to have German visa, I think you have to make, I used to hear that they have to take examination and all these things, So that is definitely showing you that they are just making it difficult. The best thing to say is stay where you are, but they cannot. So sometimes they help, sometimes not, and they are fed up with foreigners, So now what many Africans do, That's the new thing. They go to South Africa and ask for asylum. So South Africa was doing that the whole time, but now they are also getting fed up, you know, because many countries cannot afford it. Just like Italy and Spain, you know, these are European countries not being economically strong. And many foreigners, when they come from Africa, they are the first states they come. You know, so European Union push them even something to be stable. So definitely they already there will be even look at America, you know, just some time ago, how many thousands of Nigerians in one plane? Hmm? Yeah, they're doing that. So the best thing is to be sovereign. That's what I say. We try, that's why I said that at the beginning. I don't know whether you heard of it. We try and do ourselves, everything ourselves, export our things ourselves, you know, try and build a good economy, you know, and build the anti-corruption board to start with, you know, which is lingering since 4 years here, you know, nobody cares, you know, and try to use all these tools so that we'll go up and the youth don't have it even necessary to go out. You know, those days Europe was okay, you know, but not today because they themselves are having problems, you know. So that's what I want to tell people. That's why I started with that. One, I can say the government, you know, should be held accountable. Two, I advise everybody who has the capital to start a business or any other thing in the Gambia, being a Gambian, do it. Don't reach that amount coming because you know we are talking about many people are discouraged, many people are confused, and so you know where it comes. It's very painful. You spend everything. Your mother sold the house, the compound, and give it to you to go and try without knowing what is in Europe. So you risk the whole way. You know, you risk the ozone and come up to here. These people tell you, look, pack your things, you go back. You know, I mean, being a man, that is frustrating. So most of our boys here in Europe, even in your place, you can see it if you watch them properly. They are having certain problems because it's a trauma alone over the sea. You we know that already. You know,
Exactly.
so those people with their depression, you send them again back. That means you give them another problem, which nobody is thinking of. You know, so when they come, they need help normally. They need therapists. They need a psychologist to bring them down. You know, we don't have that. That's where it starts. So that means if you are a Gambian youth being in that condition in the Gambia, you can only get more frustrated because then the people will start laughing at you or throwing you stones instead of helping you. You know, so these are the
Exactly.
problems. These are the
Exactly.
problems we have. What
Yeah,
nobody talk about. You know,
yeah. I
about
think
the government to do something about.
I
yeah.
just wanted to clarify something real quick for Mr. Mbalo too, real quick. I'll make it quick, Mr. Sawaneh here. I know you need to talk as well.
No, no, that's it.
One of the things that I said earlier when I first started is one, we are all against deportation. We don't want people to be deported, definitely. But when it comes to a point where our government cannot do anything, we wanted them to negotiate first. Start with negotiation with these countries and tell them, you know, why they shouldn't deport our people because of conditions back home, and ask them to grant them some work permit, let them stay in their countries for at least 5 years, and try to build something out of that so that people can try to save money for themselves before the end of their 5 years. Now, during that time, you know, some people are going to get married and they will get a job, they will end up getting papers and they will stay there. Fine. All right. Now, for the ones that they're going to, they say no, if they say no, we can't do that, we're going to have to send them home. Then we should say, okay, finally, the last resort is give them some money. Don't send them home empty handed. We don't have anything to give them when they come to Gambia. We already have a high unemployment rate of people sitting down, no work. So don't send them back with nothing. Give them money. And I also said that money should not be given to the government, it should be given to the people. And it should be put into their bank accounts. And I'll add this there. That money really should be worth a lot more than at least 2-3 times more than what they spent to go there. in the first place. If somebody spent $50,000 by selling their family compound or whatever, selling their jewelries and all that stuff and go, when you're sending them back, give them 3 times more than that money. So when they get back home, they can, I'm saying at least, I'm not saying that amount, they can determine that. They can, that if it's a German government, whatever government, they can determine how much they're going to allocate for each person. It could be more. It could be, you know, anybody can end up with 50,000 euro. You know, you never know, or anything, or 100,000 euro a person. And if you give that to a person that's you're sending home, when they get home, they're not going to go crazy, because they know if they sit in Europe, even working for 5 years, they alone cannot save 50,000 euro. So if you give them that one time, put them in their bank account, when they get back to Gambia, that money is in their bank account. Whatever loan they took from people, they can pay it all off, and they have money to establish their own business. Start something.
Yeah, again, Sam, I just have here a good idea. When the government try to give the little businesses or working places we have in the Gambia, try to give them incentives when they employ youths. You understand? Because there is also an encouragement to reduce the unemployment rate, because then many will like to employ these youths because of the incentive. Like if you employ 5 youths, I'll be helping you with a certain amount, you know, which is a win-win. Easy for the government to bring down the employment rate, and then also good for the person employing the people, good for the government too, you know. So I think that is just an idea. I'm not expecting that they will also do it, but many countries do that, you know. But it's an initiative, you know, so that you can help the person employing them, the youths, and the government himself.
Yeah, we have it in America here.
That's it, you know.
Yep.
I don't know whether they can practice that too in the Gambia, because that will also help the youths, especially.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're on mute, Mr. Sawaneh.
Mr. Sawaneh, you're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for that insight. I think, you know, we have really contributed a lot towards this topic. Nfamara, you there? Nfamara.
Yes, Sawaneh, I'm here.
Yes. If you have a moment, you can say your final words, and we can just wrap it up. I don't think we will be able to touch the other topic. Maybe we'll post it next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear from the guest from Italy, and I think he highlighted very good points, and Alas also, and then Sam. You know, you guys are all right. I also had Binta, you know, the experience from Gambia. Some of these returnees, ni natanang ikakulminke Gambia, you know, Binta ya bere for chow. So nteda na diamo tata na Mansakunda, because Mansakunda, you know, nimbanko dingol tata be jaka lokono. Eke kuntile muntole Mansakunda kan. So na Mansakunda nyenta kantel makoi. You understand? Ining banko dingol kanyo moy. Because if banko dingol represent nike to the bokono, wala kanyo speculation will be siande. And they have the right to speculate. Because nitala Mansakunda mi alon ko atele wole sindi palaso to. Welcome on for Gambia, Kadum Pleno, Kana for Switzerland, Eka Kaito sign, Kaito mi alonko, Edeloko Banco Dingola Nafalo Moti, but in no Banco Dingola Mantara Kachakang. You understand? So all by Janadi, you not a pro can sell out, you know, and they have the right to speculate all that. You understand? But Jenny Minister Binalana, Natarako, I weekend killing Jibe, Walla Ambassador Mimbe Belgium, Aokumanda Kaiko, Ta Switzerland, Ta Italy, Ta Germany, in Gambia Association of Kacha. Anyway, Gambia be nying conventional to mi alonko international conventional you understand it? Ntelu nga signele son temfon bondila noje, but as a Gambia as a country we are obliged to to agree on these objectives. But remember je wolam nyinto ko lafta la nyanto I protect alla nyanto protect la no nyaadi le min yalonko be sirim kuring nga jubembe mako la no nyaadi le ye dung system okono quickly isaje se fond develop no ye contribute to Gambia. Mini yalon ko be problem ko la kaytu ko mon senea nga jube fana ngo review fana ngo fana jube bol ma ko la nyaali la kaytu ko sonea. You understand? Mini yalon ko woli a criminal act la keje. Obviously there is no way for all send nga jube ol fana nita da Gambia mbe juso nyabula nyaadi le isaje temko e wo kamfato kana say suwo kono, because ni seda suwo kono ye mire tambita minna bata minna inata Europe okay, ala e manta bengi bunta kukono mi alon ko ifon ala lanyino la moti. But then ni say that so kono e fenje bulu mi alon ko, at least will be help for them to transition. Because the bulu kansen ta e bulu kansen na so kono ina yo batata so kono atrete ba ani fa ila ko dala fon kuntu keta paso joite wala yalla da fen wala be la wafu cew wala la savings min bi jali ya be la waf ite bulu kansen na tanam wo so mo so wanda fon be da sa mo mi fon do wala imaso so that's very stressful. So masakunda nyanto area la jubela. So nyinkai atata nata masakunda improve communication enim banko dingol tema. Ekake nu nike nu la banko dingol la drong ila banko dingol ka sobila le ete la lela and wala nyin commotional base yandi nen deportation starta. Wala na molbi dala airport to ilafta na minketa wala na molbe Europe ilafta na minketa. Yajila kana fitinol sambana. London Balia masakunda bi gentelle. So let them be open to us. Tell us what is happening. You understand? Ni moli alo mimbe caring. Iniyo ka tenkunne. But ni ma alo mimbe caring. They have all right to speculate. It's a koku keno lo kono. So until that foreign ministry, nying is a very step forward. Bao ngaje la communication personnel nying another mimbe caring ka kul bondi nyoto. And I think that's a step in the right direction. In fact, Tangara nyanto le kela nufao jena be bola na Gambia. Wala na Switzerland fon jeni agreement of sign la anyanto le kela nim banko dingole si afukare nim vice president natal ya bare nyina mun na siloti lafta nyina bundla nyoko no isa jar salo mimbe kering den isa je news la but ni mo okay ite vice president je bo Gambia another foreign minister e dum pleno na ida Switzerland e kaito sign wo fon Gambia ma report de for bring Swiss la molia report then mo na da ko lo mimbe kering but no dem fon maybe te lo bola na Swiss la fon motalo ne min sign motalo na minebe akuna fenyo yajel wala ka speculation o sambana tubabu du be dame Gambia be dependent tubabu du tala la kan mbenga jele konka min contribute to the GDP so bi wo funding kel niol be chike minana because tubabu du akada nya boy ani mantara do kule ka min dila you can feed your family, man. Your family don't need to ikadomandingo min dila hani be asylum on campo kono ikadomandingo min dila you can feed a family of 20 people every month batan defend. So the need na do mo kino sambanang, then you are disturbing that family. I guess the silami alonko, I guess la correct ringoti. You understand? Bepre nim kodo na da fana ya dila mansakunda ya kodo dila pude mol mako mini seida dukare ya dundiwo kodo kunna. Ikana ni workshop bal ki anin ka consultant jo ka kodo karakilo be domo ibika la kata dami. Just give the money where it's supposed to go. So wala bije Sawaneh baraka bake. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
wrapping up this, I just final words.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Ngamra tulbe ali kumol be banne ninko kay atada nata. Sign thing. Mulsi muruno le but sign thing. For banko develop demanding. Banko develop demanding opportunity le create jani modbe murla. So isaje mulsi muri fay. Everybody wanna enjoy their home. Moman la fini itala nyu sumaya kono. Itala nyu suffering kono. Even in dollar no every day you don't have happiness. Everybody wanna return home and have a good life because our culture, our environment is very, very, friendly. They are going there, they are buying homes there. So we want to go home. But the point is that for home politically, for a daily fix. This corruption, this, style of government, there's no productivity. We are backward and every step we take is going backwards. We eliminate follow. So I think once that's was situated, people will freely go home. They are going home now, taking employments there after being here for so long. So the best thing is any negotiation happening, the Gambian people need to know that they have to factor the people going back, how they can amalgamate with the community, how they can set up things for them. Come and think Nfamara for Nyami. Like before they spend the money that they're gonna give them for their amalgamation in the society, they spend it wisely, and these people can really find it easy than to go and commit suicide, going crazy just because they return you from Europe. So I think this is a very, very important topic. Gambia, today Gambia la fenko abe depending tamala lekang. We all have seen that, and then we are all evidence of that. So most people are really having food on their table because they have people in Europe. Those who don't, we see how difficult, I mean, how much difficulties they are facing. So I think you guys have done a wonderful job. We're gonna end up the show now. Share this program with your various network. Follow us every week, the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. GMT. Mr. Mbalo, thank you for your time, for the passion that you put into
Thank you,
join
Mr.
us.
Mbalo.
Yes,
Thank you, Sam.
definitely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very
and
much.
you feel free anytime you want to
So,
join us.
but
Let us know any particular topic.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah. I
something from
think some
Italy.
of you have my
Yeah, I have
WhatsApp
the
number.
Yes.
Okay, so you can also, send me
Yes, yeah.
information or the next topic that you are going to talk about.
Okay.
Because here our association is doing very well. It is trying to help the Gambian youths that are in this city here, because we, mobilize them all, take them to school, make them, learn. Either if you want to be a doctor, you go into the doctor sector. If you want to be a carpenter, you go to the carpenter. If you want to be a tailor, we are doing that here as an association because we want to help our youth. You understand? Even me myself, I am going to the university presently. I'm learning nursing. You understand? So these are the things that we want to do when we are expert. When we become expert on those things, we can come back to the Gambia and invest, because we need all these sectors, people whom that they can work on these
Can build
sectors.
the country.
You understand? So we can also, if we are, if we have this knowledge here, no one will tell me go back to the Gambia, because I am from the Gambia. I can also be proud of my country. I can come and help my country on those things.
Network will be better, but at least
there is nothing like home.
message you can the continent, the dimbal binadi.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, guys. All right. So I think we can end here. It's about
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Alex,
Nice
thank
to
you.
meet you all.
Yeah, same here. Thank you.
you.
Yep.
Mr. Mbalo.
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right.
Mr.
Thank
Mbalo.
you, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alice, Sam, thank you.